happening, everybody? My name is Beth and welcome back to Every Day is Spooktober. Now today, if you've been following my channel, you will know we are talking about and reviewing the tongue twister of a movie title, Vivarium. Vivarium? Vivarium. I presume that's how you pronounce it. I haven't had someone say the name back to me, so I don't know if this is how you pronounce it, but I'm just going with that. We'll call it Viv for now, because just for short. And it's funny because as I started the film, I was like, I don't know what the title means, but I'm sure the title would give me so much info as to what is like the actual context behind this movie. Obviously I knew the original plot line, but I don't know what Vivarium means, and it means basically having something in a confined space in a cage and observing them for like animals and things like that. So I was like, okay, so this is going to be one of those metaphorical things where the humans are put in the animals' places and kind of viewed for a certain reason. That reason is I don't know, but yeah, obviously I soon figured out kind of what that was. But yeah, I watched this today and it's funny because I've always seen it pop up on YouTube movies and I'm like, what is that film? I'm just really curious of what it is. It's not necessarily a horror. I would class it more as thriller sci-fi-ish, but it is very weird and it is very unsettling at moments, and it so I can understand why this could be a horror fan's favorite, or people could like it who enjoy horror. The cast, the cast is basically just the couple that we have, Gemma and Tom. Tom is played by Jesse Eisenberg, who is obviously a huge actor, and I love him. I think he's a great actor. He's very good with comedy, so I was very curious as to how he would come across in this. I've never really seen him in anything serious, so I was a little bit on the edge of seeing how he would perform. But I think he did a pretty good job. And then we have Imogen Poots, who played Gemma, and I've seen her in a few things before, and I think she's a very good actress as well. But obviously, yeah, this basic story is a couple is looking for a home, and they visit this place where this guy goes to tour them around these new houses that have just been built, and basically they get stuck on this estate and they can never leave, and it turns into a big labyrinth, and they're basically stuck there. Obviously the premise is a bit deeper than that, which you soon to learn is the fact that this is quite sci-fi, because basically it's to do with a different species wanting humans to look after their children just like birds do, in order for them to grow and thrive and in the future. Really weird concept. Don't get me wrong, you guys know, especially with my Infinity Pool review, I love the unique, I love the different ideas. Not seen anything like this before, so this was really odd. It definitely wanted to make you keep watching, because I've never seen anything like this, and I kind of wanted to know what the ending was going to actually happen, what was going to go on. I was getting very much the film Men vibes from this. Men in this film are very similar in the sense of there's a being that represents something, and we don't quite understand what that is right until the very end. I think Men pulled it off a bit better though, if I'm honest. I think with Viv it wasn't done as well. This hasn't got the highest rating. I think it's got about a 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb. But I just generally was curious as to what this film was about, because like I said, there's a few actors that are pretty well known, and I thought what's this whole film about? Don't get me wrong, I think it definitely makes you as a viewer feel like you're going nuts with these people, because they don't give much away until kind of right at the end. Throughout the movie, there's not many indicators or dialogue or anything really that displays that why they're here and the cause of it and the end goal. We can't. It's one of those where you have to sit through it and you have to wait to the end to really find out what's happened, which I think that's a good way to definitely keep someone engaged, because it definitely kept me engaged. But I do wish there was a bit more going on, they were stuck in this labyrinth and they were going crazy because every day was the same. They were just given this baby to deal with who then turns into a kid, and he's so fucking irritating. Like, the moments when he wasn't getting fed, he wasn't getting attention, he wasn't getting parented, and he would sit there and scream. Oh my god, like, I wanted to go up to the TV screen and like punch him in the face. Like, he was so irritating. If I was that couple, I would have pulled his head off on like the second day, if I'm quite honest with you. I couldn't deal with all that. But there was some weird and interesting aspects. Like, obviously you can tell that the kid isn't human. He can like change voices and imitate people and make like become another creature basically in his own skin. So like, it was clear that we were dealing with some kind of alien type of species, which is obviously the premise of this. But I thought it was cool that they kind of based the alien species off like birds. So at the opening sequence of this movie, obviously we have an opening sequence of birds, and one of them's like mothering these new eggs that have been brought into the nest, and it's not actually their own eggs, it's another bird's eggs. And this is like the same premise but with humans. So I quite like how they try and kind of fit this into like a human aspect, and then involve the aliens. Don't get me wrong, it is a bit confusing, it's a bit weird. Like a very weird matchup here that I didn't really expect to happen. But like I said, I've never seen anything like that. So, I mean, I applaud you, fair enough, for doing that. The filmmakers of this. I think, like I said, I think they did a good job. I could tell though, a lot of this sort of world that they filmed in, you could tell it was very like claymation a lot of the time. And they like, it was giving me like Wallace and Gromit vibes. Like, if you guys know, then you know. But like, it was giving me that vibes of like how things moved, and right towards the end when Gemma's like sinking through different dimensions and everything seems like it's moving like clay. It was coming across like that, and it was a bit cheesy, and it came across quite low budget, which I think this film was fairly low budget for what it was. Like, I think there's only like 2 filming locations for this movie, so like it wasn't like crazy money or anything to make it, which is surprising considering the actors, and it came out in like 2019, which obviously wasn't that long ago. But yeah, I think there was some parts that looked a bit cheap. I think like the constant sort of eye-bird view of like the housing estate that they're stuck in, you could tell that it wasn't real. And like, I mean, I wish they made it look more realistic. When I think of like this labyrinth that they're stuck in, my mind immediately went to Grave Encounters. If you guys know, then you know. Obviously when they get stuck in the asylum and they're stuck in there, and every door is either a dead end or it leads to another door and there's no exit. And like, Grave Encounters does it very well, like the asylum effect. But with this one, it just felt like the characters didn't do enough. And because the housing estate and everything else was, I mean, it wasn't obviously real, it was all fake. I felt like they could have done so much more, but I felt like we were focusing so much on just like the relationship between Gemma and Tom that was kind of like falling apart. Like, Tom was getting obsessed with getting the fuck out of there, and then Gemma started to become obsessed with the kid and think that she was a mother because she obviously wanted that one day. It was a very weird concept. I wanted there to be more about like the mentality of these people going crazy. Like, I wanted to see more fight for them to get out of there. And I think the fact that Tom dies, I guess because of overexhaustion, because he's breathing in this air that isn't human, it's for the aliens, and he's always outside sleeping and digging that hole, it like causes him to die quicker. But I don't know, like, I felt like it was too easy. Like, I feel like there could have been more like alien involvement, because realistically we see like overall like 2 aliens, and I would have loved to have seen like maybe them in their like original form instead of taking human form, or just showing us a bit more of their life. Or even kind of like the Truman Show, where you know, have the aliens like looking over them from like a ship or something and like observing how do humans work, this is what the humans are doing, and like give a bit more concept to that, because I felt this film was like very loose-ended and it didn't have many layers, it was quite basic. And when I got to the end of the film, I was like, okay, like I need to go look this up because there was obviously so much depth to it. But from what I was reading from other people, it was everything that I thought it was, and I didn't need much further explaining. So yeah, you know what I mean, like I just think there could have been a bit more substance to it. It felt like we were watching one of those very slow movies that where like everything just happens in a day, and we're watching like every minor detail that we don't really need to see, like going and getting a coffee, eating breakfast. I know we have to kind of keep those scenes ongoing to like continue the sort of madness of being in like a labyrinth and never getting out. But I would have liked to have seen some more of this alien species, because we see the guy at the beginning that shows in the house. We obviously have the kid, but we don't have much explanation to why he's the way that he is. And then we have the kid grown up, and he like fucks off and leaves the house every day, and we don't know where he goes. And he watches that weird program on TV which looks like some like cult shit. Like there was so much that I just wanted to know. I mean, I'm aware this was like another species, but if the audience don't know what the species is, like give us some more context. And I think that's where it like flatlined for me, is that there wasn't enough. There wasn't enough there. Don't get me wrong, I was intrigued and I wanted to get to the end to find out. And I think it was a cool idea, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I've never seen anything like that. I just had a bit more, I guess I just had some more high expectations for it. Like I thought it was going to be a bit better than what I saw, unfortunately. But I mean, it is what it is. You know, like I said, I would love to know more. I might have to dig a bit deeper into sort of explanations and see what theories and people are thinking about this and who this species actually is. Because like I said, nothing at all. But yeah, for rating, I'd probably give this like a 4.5 out of 10. Like I said, it was a decent film, different, unique, weird, made you feel like you were going crazy with the characters, but just missing so much vital info that I think as an audience member you would just need to be able to be a bit more engaged. I just want to know a bit more about these aliens. Who the fuck are they, and why are they the way that they are, and like give us a little bit of backstory, and let's not focus so much on the relationship, because I mean, if I'm quite honest with you, I wasn't that interested in Gemma and Tom's relationship, because like they didn't give us much to care about, because we didn't know them that well from the beginning. It just kind of went straight into them getting stuck. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment your thoughts on this movie. Would you recommend? What are your theories about these alien species? I want to know some more info. Let me know. I will see you on my next review.